Welcome to Curious Conversations. This is episode 15 and I'm going to do myself and Aiden. I'm going to be interviewing Aiden. I've written down some questions that I want to ask him about life, about training, coaching, a couple of different things. And he says he's going to go deep today.
Yes, I'm going to go deep. We done something similar to this at the start of like the whole podcast. I think it was episode one.
I think it was first episode.
Episode one. We kind of interviewed each other and asked each other questions. But this time we get ChatGPT asking the questions.
Yeah, we've got ChatGPT asking the questions. So let's just dive right in.
Let's go, mate.
What first pulled you into the world of fitness and when did it shift from a hobby to a mission?
So the start of my whole fitness career, the whole kind of start of my fitness journey, it started a long time ago, ever since I can remember. I've been doing a lot of sports. I've done so much sports throughout the years. I've done gymnastics, I've done rugby, done a little bit of boxing, played a little bit of football. What else did I play?
I didn't even know
Aye, when I was younger, to be fair, I didn't do them for a long time.
Right.
I didn't do it for a long time. But I tried them all out. I was always kind of quite sporty, always tried to be. Always just kind of liked it as a kid. I was never like incredible at any of them, like ever. But I just wanted to dip my toe into everything and see what kind of worked for me.
Yeah.
So, kind of once I started to get a little bit older, I started to get into the gym a little bit. I used to be quite chubby as a wee guy. Used to get made fun of for it. So I think that's what kind of made me want to get into the gym. Started going to the gym when I was maybe like 13, 14. Belliston Sports Centre, that's where you started as well, I think. Mm-hmm. And I became really, really, really skinny. I started off kind of probably just doing like some random stuff, 100s of cardio, and yeah, just became mad skinny. No any like muscle or anything like that, and I was just doing random things in the gym. After that, kind of fell away from it. Like there was periods of time where I would just fall away from it, go back to it, fall away from it, go back to it. And then in lockdown, that was actually the start of like 2 sports, which is quite mad. So at the very start of lockdown, I really started to get into boxing. Me and my big brother used to box, and I always thought it was so cool. But I never really, I couldn't fight. I couldn't fight. So, and obviously he used to proper batter me every single time I put the gloves on. So, that shit got to me. So decided we were just kind of punching the bag. I had a kind of bag with like water filled, and so it was that's what I was doing in lockdown. And obviously when lockdown started to ease off, started getting to boxing, done that for a couple of years. And yeah, it was a great journey, but also another sport. That's how I started my running journey in lockdown as well. It was weird to tell people about this. So how I got into running, I used to like sleep during the day in lockdown. Like I would sleep throughout the full day, and when I would wake up, it would be like around about maybe in between 10 o'clock and 1 at night, 1 in the morning, sorry.
What, like 10 p.m?
10 p.m. or 1 in the morning, in between that.
Uh-huh.
And as soon as I'd wake up, I'd put my running shoes on and run the full night. Empty streets, earphones in, 0 cars to be seen. And I'd done that for like, weeks and weeks, months. And no one knows that. No one really knows that. Like, no one knew that I was doing that as well, because obviously my dad was asleep. Everyone was asleep in my house. And I would just go out, have up my backpack on and just run for hours.
Really?
Run for hours. No fuel, no anything. I would just run. So that's how my kind of like fitness journey started in lockdown, and then I again fell away from it. Didn't do it for a little while. I actually remember the day that I first experienced burnout, because I built it up to where I was like running like 20k like per night, or every second night I would go out and run. And one day, this was actually one of the first days that I ran in lockdown, like when it was light outside, and I was like, just gonna do a 15k, it's gonna be easy. Went out and it was a slog, like proper slog. I had no clue about like nutrition and how to feel and stuff like that, but that was the first time I've ever experienced burnout. And then I think that kind of like scared me away from it a little bit, and that's when I stopped. And then picked up running. Probably about my first ever running event was the Glasgow Half Marathon. Insane. It was mad. I think I'm kind of rambling a little bit, but Glasgow Half Marathon, was aiming for a time, didn't get it, and then that's a huge kind of turning point for me. This is when it turned from a hobby to a mission.
What was the time and what did you get?
Glasgow Half Marathon, I was aiming for 1:30 for the half marathon, got 1:47, and I was distraught. I was actually distraught.
Yeah.
And 1:47 is a respectful time. That's a respectable time. Really good time, but because I like was so far off it in my head, like I wasn't happy at the end. Like I was like raging, so angry. Like I didn't even like all my mate. It was because I was training with my mate, and he got sub 1:30. He got like 1:28 or something like that, and it actually ate me up. Like it proper ate me up, and that was the turning point that day. So basically, everyone goes out, they're getting pints, they're all having a good time after the half marathon. I don't. I get my mum to drive me home, and I get a shower and lay in my bed, like for about 3 hours. And I vividly remember lying in my bed, looking at my ceiling, dark, like blinds down, dark, and I can remember the conversation I had myself in my head, and I was like, it was the loudest noise ever. It was just telling me, you're going to get absolutely nowhere, not even fitness, but in life, if you continue with this mindset. If you continue with because I would always do that. That's why I didn't stick at sports when I was younger. Because when I was like shite, or there was adversity that I had to like overcome, I would throw the toys at the pram, and I wouldn't do it, because I couldn't deal with being bad at something. So got to like when I was lying in my bed, it was the loudest noise ever. They was just all I was saying to myself was like, you can't continue like this, and you won't continue like this, because if you do, not like it doesn't matter about running anymore. This is your life. You need to be able to overcome adversity. I spoke to my dad after it. Kind of came to terms with it. Then I got to work, booked the next half marathon, and got a sub 1:30. Because that was always sticking in my head, and it's kind of brought me to just now. I've done a lot of fitness events. I've done ultra marathons. I've done marathons. I've done high rocks events. And yeah, that's the kind of time it became. It's a very long-winded answer for the first one, but
I think it needs to be, and probably bases some of the next questions off of it as well. You can tie back into it. So now where you're currently at, you're pursuing high rocks. Like that's all both of our training is dialed towards. Why high rocks? Like what is it about that sport that kind of reflects who you are?
You know what, mate? It's like I just like every bit of it. Like I like challenging myself, I like testing myself. It is a huge challenge. It's got a little bit of running in it. I feel like I wouldn't say like I've got a huge running background, but that's probably predominantly what I'm best at. And I just like the kind of energy of like the sessions. I like the way I feel after the sessions. And you can also focus on the two things that I enjoy doing, and that's kind of like lifting, moving weight, and also running. So something that lights me up when I train, and when I'm training with other people, when I'm doing high rock sessions, it makes me feel incredible. And yeah, when we do the events, like the opportunity to compete with your best mate or like proper challenge yourself, is like a feeling that you can't buy. So yeah, that's probably why.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing for me. Like going back into high rocks is the competition aspect.
Yeah,
I
totally.
felt like that was really missing in my life for years there, and I didn't really notice it. Like
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was missing until I started competing again. I'm loving it. Like having like a set date, right? I'm competing on that date
Yeah.
because it was the same when I played badminton when I was younger. It was like, right, the nationals is coming up,
Yeah.
or like the East of Scotland's coming up, so it's like a training block towards that, and I think that's given me
It's
a much bigger focus.
totally. It's the anticipation for me as well. Like it really lights me up. Like when we're coming into that. Don't get me wrong. Like if your goals are bigger than just like one singular event, then it shouldn't be the only driver. Like one event, but at the same time, like it perks you up. You're like thinking, oh, I'm not, especially when you're doing a doubles, because you're like, I need to show up for this person, so
Yeah,
I need to put in all the work I possibly can to make sure that we can do the best we can. So that's
love it. You talk about progress. How do you measure progress beyond numbers and time?
This is a good question, This is a really, really good question. For me, progress isn't, yeah, it can be measured by numbers and times, obviously, because like fitness, like coming into fitness, but like progress for me is just becoming a better person. There's been so much of my life where I've not thought much of myself, and I've maybe been my like biggest critic and probably my worst enemy. So progress for me is being my own best friend, like learning to love myself and learning to be there for myself, because you spend like the person that you spend your most time with every single day is yourself. So make it a kind of a good time at all times, and I think that you're going to come across adversity and you're going to come across like challenging times, but like like being able to say to yourself in your own head, yeah, this is a hard time, this is a challenging time, but we're going to get through it. We can push through it. That goes kind of back to the start when I said that I would always beat myself up like if I didn't get something right. Like the first hurdle I would almost fall. Now I'm really starting to learn like, yeah, this maybe didn't go well, but I'm still here. I've still got all these good things. I'm still healthy. I'm not injured. It's like being able to support yourself through the hard times. That's progression for me, and that's what I'm building on. That's what I'm trying to progress in. And I feel like it's slowly but surely coming together.
I love that. What's one thing, your daily routine, that would shock the average person?
So I'm gonna. I don't know if it would shock the average person for sure. But I've kind of got a new routine. Obviously, you're same. Me and Anton have got the same coach, Christian, Ailey and Carly, and Christian's gave me this new morning routine, and it's been helping me so much. Like it feels incredible. Like I'm excited to wake up. It's nothing crazy. It's nothing mad exciting, but I just like it because it's allowing me to stack the kind of small wins and kind of build on the like stacking the small wins kind of like builds your confidence and stuff like that, and it's making me feel great. It's the first week of me doing it, and I can already feel a difference. So my morning routine is wake up around about the same time, probably around about 4:45 to 6, depending on if I'm in the gym or not. Then first thing I'll do is drop down 20 push-ups, change my state, get my body moving, make sure I'm awake. After that, head into the toilet, weigh myself, and then I'm in the shower. In the shower, 20 seconds, cold shower, gets me awake. Come out, get sorted, like my moisturiser on the face, maybe do the hair a little bit. Do the hair a little bit, don't know if you can tell. But yeah, then come out, get some clothes on, get ready, head out to the kitchen, journal for 10 minutes. I like to do my 6-minute diary, but I also like to get a blank page and just fill the blank page and just completely brain dump, speak about how I'm feeling that morning, speak about what's to come, speak about how I can get to where I need to get to, and just kind of just put it all out on paper. Get my coffee, get my electrolytes, get my supplements, and yeah, do my to-do list as well. is massive. I spoke to Dale about this. He's helped me kind of find a little bit of structure when it comes to timekeeping, and I've definitely seen the difference. So yeah, that's my morning routine. Don't know if that shocks anyone, but it's probably not normal for a lot of people.
It's definitely not normal, but yeah, it's massive for me as well, and I think that whole piece he said about stacking wins, like that's something that I almost kind of forgot about by doing it, and I'm kind of just used to doing it now.
Yeah.
But you're so right. Like having something that, even if it's just 1-2 things that are like a little win, like a journal or 20 press ups. Yeah, like start off with 1-2. If you've got time for 3 things, do that. Don't just get up and go straight on your phone and then waste half an hour on your phone. That's a big thing we've spoke about in the past podcasts. Is get up and do something for yourself. It gets one win, even if it's a tiny win. Like
That's what I keep on noting down on my journal as well. Like every single morning, like it's not like these one things. It's not this one thing. It's not the 20 seconds of the cold shower. It's not just the journal. It's all together, like stacking that, and it's compounding. It's consistency. It's not just that. It's the consistency of doing the thing. It's kind of basically just showing yourself that you show up for you. Yeah. You show that's the biggest thing for me from doing it, is it's giving me evidence that I show up for myself. So that builds my confidence. That makes me feel like a more secure person by stacking those wins. And you just need to do it over time, and it gradually builds up. People think that what's the point in doing it, man? Like it's not going to change. It definitely does. It changes the way you think.
Yeah, and on that, like there's a really good book that drills this into your head called the Compound Effect. It's an audiobook. It's only it's like 2 or 3 hours long or something. So it's not like a massive book. It would probably be a short book to read as well. But it really drills this. It got loads of stories that back it up, and like in all avenues, not just like habits, but like your money, like
that's it.
Like all these things. So the Compound Effect. If you've not heard of this before, learn about it. Maybe listen to that book, because it's so important. What have you heard? Have you ever had a moment where you thought, I might not be cut out for this, and what got you through it? I know you have had this.
What was that?
Just I know you've had it.
I've had it this week. I've had it. I've had it a couple times. I think that it's a hard question. I think it's a hard question to answer, because I can't fully put it to like a certain time, but there's been so many times where I've like asked myself, like, fucking hell, man. Like I've said to myself, like, are you cut out for this? Are you good enough? It comes back to like the whole kind of the way I normally am. I'm always questioning myself. I'm always maybe doubting myself. But I had it this week, and I broke through it by finding structure. I broke through it by asking for help. I feel like a lot of the time when people are having issues like that, or maybe having issues with work, or having issues with like their training or things like that, like the biggest thing that I've found that helps me is asking like for advice of people that you trust, and that you hold their word to a high regard. For example, on Monday, I was working Saturday, Sunday on a different job, and then when I came on Monday, it was my day off, came in for the team meeting, and it was just a lot of information for me, and I feel like I struggled to take it in, and once it was finished, I kind of went into myself. Wasn't my normal self. I feel like I was speaking to my dad about this, it's so obvious to see that I'm no alright, because when I'm alright, I'm bringing the energy. And I'm there, and I'm laughing, and I'm joking. So yeah, kind of went into myself, and Dale came over to me and was like, what's happened, what's good, and then basically just kind of broke down, and that was it was down to a lot of things, but it was mainly down to me managing my time, in kind of not having things in place and not kind of doing what I could have to ease my mind, and maybe just like playing things in my head and not getting them out. That's why it's so important for people to like speak about the times where they feel overwhelmed, because sometimes when you speak about it, it actually kind of shows you that there isn't that much to do. There isn't that much to do. You're just kind of playing in your mind. You're trying to figure things out. But yeah, that was probably the last time. I'm always asking myself that question, and I always know the answer. I always know the answer is yes. I'm completely cut out for this. I'm more than cut out for this. But sometimes you question yourself.
That's it. Like, I don't even think it has to be on the macro, like the big scale that you're talking about. Like, I think about. I probably ask myself this on maybe a daily basis, every so often. When stuff gets hard, like you will. The first thought that will come into your mind, you've got the angel and the devil on your shoulder, but the devil's always asking, are you actually cut out for this? Yeah. Are you cut out for it? But it's being aware of that and then going against it, like, exactly, yes, I'm cut out for this, just answering it.
And creating action with it as well. Creating action, like, to show yourself that you are cut out for it. That's how you do it. That's how you show yourself that you are cut out of it, by like creating action and figuring out what the best thing to do is. And I think that's everyone asks himself that question, and that's because like humans, like as a species, like we're meant to feel comfortable. We want to feel comfortable, and as soon as that kind of feeling of like uncomfortable kind of feelings that come about, whether that's like because of you needing to do something in work that's going to take some time, or like there's so much of that playing in your head, like you just want to get away from it. But if you can't get around it, go through it. Yeah.
Power. What's a belief you hold now that your 16-year-old self wouldn't understand? That's a good one, ChatGPT.
That's a good one, ChatGPT. Say that again for me.
What's a belief you hold now that your 16-year-old self wouldn't understand? So think back to 5 years ago, what you believed then versus now.
It's so important to be yourself. That is something that I've learned, like, probably started to learn that at 16. Like, I was from that age, like from maybe like ever since I started secondary school up to like 16, 17, I was playing an act just because I wanted to fit in. I was playing an act, I was hanging about with the wrong people, and I was getting into stuff that I knew that wasn't good for me, and things that I shouldn't have been doing, because I was brought up in a way that I shouldn't. I didn't need to go down that way. I didn't need to go down that kind of path. So yeah, like being yourself, like be yourself. Is if I was to go back and kind of tell them that my 16-year-old self is to stop playing the character and truly like be yourself for you, and kind of give yourself the chance to, because it makes you feel good. Like ever since I've started focusing on that, I've just seen such a change in my life, and it's how it's got me to here. Like, see, if I was 16, like I would never have messaged you or Dale. Yeah. Like, I would never have messaged you or Dale like when I was 16. I don't think, because I was maybe thinking, oh, what if they think I'm a dafty? What if they think I'm a gimp? Yeah. Things like that. But being your true self, being curious, and not caring what people think is how you get successful, and that's for me anyway.
I think that's a big one. How do you get around that, or how have you got around that over time in terms of how people stop caring what other people think? Because I feel like that's been a big thing for me the last couple of years as well. Like massive. But how do you think you get over that?
Biggest one is surrounding yourself with people that don't give a shit. Mm-hmm. Like, I speak about this all the time. The biggest turning point for me was when I done my first ever Hampden shift with Fraz.
Yep.
and I'd never seen him, like, this was when we weren't as close, and I'd never seen like him in a setting like this, like a setting like it was a place was surrounded by models, fucking beautiful people all around, and I'd never been in this setting, so I was fucking nervous as fuck. And he honestly, like, walked in the room and just rocked the show, mate. Like, actually the most impressive thing I've ever seen. I was in awe. I couldn't, and you know what, mate? Instantly it rubbed off on me.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was a moment where I was like, what's happening here? My whole personality's just changed. Because I never used to be like that. I couldn't string two words together. And I always give him that appreciation. I'll always tell him that. And he's probably one of the biggest reasons why I'm the way I am today. And that's probably the biggest reason why I went and messaged you guys. Because we used to speak about that all the time. We used to be like, oh, who gives a shit, mate? Like, we're like, you only live once. Like, these people are like non-participating characters in our life.
Yeah.
And he, like, Fraz is the epitome, you know him yourself, he's the epitome of confidence, and it's just refreshing, mate, and it rubs off on you. So I give him all the credit.
Yeah.
When it comes to that, because that was the turning point for me. So to change that, to get around that, find people that are unapologetically themselves.
Yeah.
And do whatever they like and be the type of person they like, and just show love and be kind.
Yeah, because they are out there. There's people out
Definitely,
there that are like
there's
that.
so many out there.
And a good thing to think of is that no one cares.
Everyone's too focused on what they're doing.
Literally, everyone's too focused on their own life. Yeah, they might like think about it for 10 seconds, or they might see you pop up on Instagram, whatever. But then, you know what happens? They think about the other thing. They think their brain takes them somewhere else, etc., etc. They're not going to remember anything that you do in particular. So
100%.
that was a big thing that I always remember. Is literally no one cares.
That's a huge. I always say that in my head as well, because I'm like, there's been a few times where I've been out a walk, right, and I've been on my phone, and there's been like a dip in the street, and I've like went to stand on it, and it's like I've heavy buckled, like the most embarrassing shit you can do, right? And like, people have seen me, and I actually get laughed at. I get laughed at one time, right? And I was like, after it, I was like, right, okay, I could like beat myself up and be like, you're a mad idiot, that's so embarrassing, like, I'm gonna think about this all day. Or I could maybe think about it like, that was heavy funny, and they laughed at me, and I probably would have laughed at myself if I seen myself do that.
Yeah.
So
it's important to laugh at yourself.
It's so important. And then I completely forgot about it, and I laughed at it, like, out loud. People were probably looking at me across the street thinking this guy's crazy. But yes, that's so important.
Yeah, it's how you frame it.
Yeah.
Do you ever worry that your identity is too tied to discipline and performance?
I feel like quite a lot. I feel like a lot of the time there's probably a lot of people out there that think all I do is talk about like fitness and like all that stuff. And if you know me, you'll know that I'm a mad quotey guy. Like, I'll just heavy hit you with quotes and just say them all the time. But yeah, I would say it's really attached to it, because I love it. I love the whole like kind of thought of being so disciplined and being so like performing really well. But one thing I would say is, I wouldn't say I'm even close to my most disciplined self, and to like the highest performance. I feel like I've not even touched the sides when it comes to like performing at the very highest level for me, and being as disciplined. There's a lot of work to do for me, and I feel like I'm welcoming it more. That's one thing that I've improved on this year, is like welcoming like the process. There's been a lot of times where I've said like process over outcome, yeah, like said that to people, but like not really stuck to myself. And I'm really just enjoying like learning how to be more disciplined.
Yeah. I'm
only 21, mate, so it's such a young age, mate. Like, there's so many people, there's so many 21-year-olds and older that are still not even got it figured out, and some people never figure it out, and I
They
think
all
that
never figure it out.
you never figure it out. Like you always strive to to have it all like kind of set, and you like to have everything that's like perfect and sunshine and rainbows, but like it's never gonna be. Life is never gonna be perfect. There's always gonna be like unchosen suffering that you need to deal with. So yeah, I think that my identity is kind of stuck to that, the whole kind of performance and discipline, but I'm definitely not the finished product, and if it is, I don't think it should be.
Yeah, it's good that you understand that. I was listening to a guy, Steve Magnus, who wrote Do Hard Things on a podcast. In fact, it was the Rocks Life podcast.
Great podcast.
And he spoke about the do or die mentality and how it's a bad thing. So like everyone thinks, oh, like these athletes who say, oh, I need to get this done or else that's it. Like it's the all or nothing mentality really, and a lot of people think they want that mindset, whereas there's a huge grey area like in between. It's not black and white. It's a huge grey area. You want to be in between. You want to be aware of that.
Yes.
That if you are like see if you are a do or die person, then that's when like if you have a bad workout or if you end up binging one day, then that's you off the rails for good. Like it's do or die, all or nothing.
You know me, mate. Like that's the mindset that I had. That's where I was going completely wrong.
Yeah.
Like I can't remember the guy who was actually on Rock's Life podcast as well, and he spoke about like it's scientifically proven that the people that like have a joke and have a laugh and kind of make fun of themselves.
That was the same podcast.
It was the same podcast. Like that's the people that do well. It's the people that kind of like beat themselves up and like, oh, I need to do this or this is over, like the end of the world. I was that. That was me. That was all I was. Now I actively like spoke about like the change in mindset as well for me. It's Glasgow High Rocks is kind of where it changed for me.
Yeah.
Like the full process, I was like laughing and joking. It doesn't matter if we get 2 hours. And I was really like focusing on that kind of gratitude side of things and what happened to my performance. It skyrocketed, and that's what I'm always going to continue to do. I don't agree with the do or die kind of thing. Like there's a lot of athletes out there that do, and they might be successful, but I don't know. Just what ticks for me is kind of making sure that no matter like remembering no matter what happens in a race, it's all going to be okay.
What's a fear that still quietly drives you, even if you don't talk about it much?
Being a huge fear for me is like never like feeling comfortable with the way I look.
Yeah.
That's what drives me. That's the biggest thing. For me, that's what probably one of my biggest issues that I'm looking to rectify. I've always kind of had that issue. Spoke a lot about that. Spoke a lot to Christian about that as well, and it's something that I'm always working on. But I think it's always that little guy, that little chubby guy, on my shoulder. When I was younger, I had issues with that, and it still sits with me. It still sits with me. So I'm always kind of trying to work on it and try to make sure that I'm not attaching myself to that kind of mindset, because that's where I start to kind of be quite self-deprecating and like speak bad about myself, because that's what I've always done when I was that, because I got that. So that's the biggest fear that's driving me right now. And I do feel like I'll overcome it.
Yeah.
But I feel like not a lot of people speak about it, especially at my age. People would, especially like boys, like I think there's a stat like the male body dysmorphia is like overtaking girl body dysmorphia, and that's not to like pie off girl dysmorphia, of course, but like in men it's grown, like it's bad, and I definitely suffer a little bit from it, and there's a lot of boys out there, guys out there that don't want to speak about it. But the best thing that you can do is speak about it. because it's putting awareness to it, and it's a thing that I think I'll always need to work on, but it's a process, and this is why I'm doing all these things, because I want to become a better version of myself, and also like by becoming a better version of myself is me being proud of how I look in the mirror.
Yep, that's a huge piece that a lot of people don't think about, is their past and how their past is like stuck to their identity.
Totally.
Like what you said, the younger, chubbier you, like that person's still inside you to an extent. And same with me. Like when I was younger, there was times that I was the exact same, and I really wasn't comfortable with my body. And I remember people making comments, and you still remember them to the day.
Totally,
Like I remember clear comments to the day, and although at the time I would have brushed it off or whatever, like I remember them clear in my head, and these stories like stack up in your head as well. Like you go back to them, and they might be right at the back of your mind, but then when it comes to making actions today, they're still there, and they're still part of who you are. So you then make decisions that could link to that. So for example, binging, like if I thought about my younger self right at the back of my head, and like I'm feeling a really low mood, and I'm like that, I'm going into the cupboards, and I'm reliving my younger self, and how I used to act, so how I used to eat to make me feel better.
Yeah, exactly. It's like when you remember those times, and when you feel like that, you're like almost like subconscious, like, well, I'm that person anyway. So I'm the type of person that does this. I'm the type of person that binges, because you're telling yourself that story subconsciously, even though you there might be a part of you where you know you're not that person anymore. There's things that you've learned in the past for like years and years and years that you take into your older self, and it's about being able to understand these things, and it's about being able to like be logical with it sometimes. Like a lot of the time when I like, even kind of the back end of last year, start of this year, I was going through it a lot with that, and I was kind of trying to detach myself from that type of person, and I feel like I'm getting better at it every single day, but it's something that people don't speak about enough. So yeah, that's probably the biggest fear that's driving me just now.
Appreciate you sharing that. It's not
Course,
easy to
man.
do.
Of course.
What's something you've outgrown recently, either physically or mentally?
Outgrown.
Might be a belief, might be a thought that you used to have
One
a lot.
is you don't need to be amazing all the time. I felt like my full life I've always been trying to chase like an amazing, perfect life. Spoke a little bit about this a couple of questions ago, but that's left me a little bit. Like I always used to try and just like, oh, one morning I just wake up and then it's all fucking amazing and it's all good, and all the problems have left me. Coming to terms with you're not always going to be okay, and that's okay. You're not always going to be amazing and feel great and want to speak to everyone and want to bring the energy and things like that, but that's okay. You can just kind of have a bad day. You can have this, but you're still going to be able to push through it. Like pushing through it is the best thing that you can possibly do for that. So probably a belief that's changed in me is like needing to thinking that I need to feel okay all the time.
If people only remember how you made them feel, what feeling are you trying to leave behind? I'm going to wrap this up after this.
That's a good question.
That is a good question. I'm going to repeat that.
Yeah, repeat that.
If people only remember how you made them feel, what feeling are you trying to leave behind?
Just a feeling of connection, a feeling of support, and yeah, like connection is huge for me. I feel like when when I meet someone for the first time, it's super important for me to show what type of person I am, and kind of give them like all of me in that kind of situation, in that kind of the first time meeting and stuff like that. So the feeling I would like to leave behind is like the biggest like feeling of connection.
Love it. Aiden Glasgow, thank you for your time. That's episode 15 wrapping up. That was class.
Appreciate you, bro.